Okay, time for a new video, and whether you are somebody new to my channel or you are returning to my channel to watch this video, it is greatly appreciated. As always, I'm filming this in one go, so if I stumble over my words going forwards, I apologise in advance, and I should also apologise in advance if the quality of this video isn't too good later on. If there's any lag, sadly it cannot be helped, and hopefully that's not too much of an issue for you. Today I'm filming a video on a complete whim. Another Eurovision related video. I think there's a few more that I'd like to film before this decade is done and dusted. And today I'm going to be talking about something that you can very much get involved with. I'm very interested in hearing your thoughts on this. Which entry is the best entry not to win from 2010 to 2019? Obviously we've had some very strong winners, and we've had some very strong entries that perhaps finished very high up on the scoreboard, but they didn't win. And I'm interested to know your thoughts on this. Which song is the best not to win? So I'm going to go through all of the contests we've had from 2010, talk about the songs that finished in second place, third place, maybe one or two others. I will try to be very brief here. I don't actually have a lot of time to film this video, but I want to get it up as soon as possible. And yes, do let me know your thoughts. So I haven't really got a lot of information in front of me here, so you'll have to bear with me as I do a little bit of typing here and there. 2010, of course, the Oslo competition. Not a really amazing year, in my opinion, in terms of the quality of the songs, but the runner-up behind Germany, and Germany was the clear favourite, I believe. I remember saying to my father in the build-up to the 2010 competition that Germany were going to win. There was no doubt about it, and of course Lena did quite comfortably. But Turkey were the runners-up, and this song I know is really popular amongst the Eurovision community. We Could Be the Same by Manga, really successful Turkish band, pre-Eurovision and post-Eurovision, won lots of awards, sold a couple of million records, I believe, you know, really quite successful outside of Turkey too. And this song, you know, sort of a bit of a rock number, woman dressed as a robot, lots of flashing lights. It would have been quite a different, striking winner. It certainly would have stood out amongst the list of winners over the past 15-20 years or so. I quite like it, absolutely. I'm not sure where it's ranked in my personal ranking of the songs. I think it's something like 9th or 10th, which is still, you know, pretty good. Is it the best song not to win this decade? A lot of people would say yes, it's a very popular entry. And then third in 2010 was Romania. I wasn't expecting this to finish as high as it did, I'll be honest with you. This was Playing with Fire by Paula Selling and Ovi. Two really good singers. They had that sort of perspex, was it? That see-through piano. That really high note by Paula towards the end, flames, you know, coming out of parts of the stage. It was a really nice, strong, solid performance. Personally, I think it maybe is not one of the weakest, but certainly one of the more lower ranked third placed entries we've had over the past decade, at least for me. I know a lot of people really love this song too. I've always been a little bit indifferent on it, I'll be honest. It's good, I like it more than I did, but I'm not a huge fan. And then in terms of songs that didn't finish in the top three in 2010, Denmark's good, Azerbaijan's not bad, Belgium I think is very strong. That's very much an underrated gem over the past 10 years. Some people would even say Greece, some people would say Georgia. That's a very fine entry in the 2010 competition. But really, if we're talking about genuinely, truly standout high quality songs from the 2010 competition, I'd say out of how many countries were there? 39 in 2010. I would say there's probably about 6 that are genuine, top-notch, potential to win quality. Of course, only one song can win, and that was Germany. But you see what I mean. Moving on to 2011. Now, 2011, I think, was a pretty strong year, actually, in terms of the quality of the entries. But, obviously, the song that did win is perhaps one of the most unpopular winners we've ever had. The runner-up was Italy, returning after years away, a jazz song. It stood out because it was so different. It was classy, quality stuff. Rafael Gualazzi with Madness of Love. It started off way behind in the voting and then surged up and finished second by the end of it. Really well deserved, I think. This was such a wonderful, quite charming and relaxing performance. Really lovely stuff. I don't think it has many fans though. But this is great music in Eurovision, no doubt about it. And then Sweden finished third, and I had Sweden down as the winner in 2011. I really thought Erik Saade was going to do it, but he didn't. Popular, finished in third place. The lyrics of that song, really not that good. But a very strong performance overall, quite a bit of choreography, as I'm sure you will remember. I don't think either of those songs, though, arguably are some of the best songs not to win over the past 10 years. You've also got Denmark. I'm not counting Ukraine here. I'm really not. But Denmark, Bosnia, those songs, pretty solid as well. I know a lot of people would say Azerbaijan, the weakest winner of the past 10 years, but maybe you completely disagree on that. I certainly wouldn't say it's the weakest winner this decade. But let me know your thoughts. This is very much an interactive sort of video. Moving on to 2012. I thought 2012 was a pretty strong year. Again, maybe even stronger than 2011 in terms of the quality of the entries. Russia was the runner-up. Party for Everybody, Buranovsky Babushki. Worth saying that this very nearly toppled Loreen in the public vote alone. Absolutely ridiculous. This was, of course, as we all know, a bunch of very elderly Russian women, one of whom was baking bread on stage. It was all a bit comical, it was all a bit silly, but the attention surrounding this group was so massive at the time. They were obviously going to do quite well. Are you telling me this was the best entry not to win this decade? Absolute balderdash. Are you telling me that this should have finished in second place? No, absolutely not, in my opinion. Serbia finished third. I just remember the 2012 competition, the atmosphere being a bit rubbish. Maybe if you were there, you can always, tell me that I'm wrong. But the atmosphere just seemed really quite dull. It was very late at night. Well, it was early morning in Azerbaijan. And Sweden were obviously going to win. There was no competition. And it's not always fun when Eurovision is like that. You want it to be relatively close. You want there to be many songs vying for the win. So I would not say Russia or Serbia. Azerbaijan, some of the best songs not to win this decade. Estonia down in 6th, absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Germany as well, I thought that was a really terrific song. And Spain, genuinely brilliant stuff. But Sweden, of course, arguably the strongest winner of the past 10 years. Moving on to 2013. Oh dear, this is another rambling video, many apologies. 2013, Denmark won, of course. The runner-up was Azerbaijan, Hold Me by Farid Mammadov. I think this is a bit overrated. Did not expect it to finish second. Woman in the Box. No, it was the man in the box and the woman with the really long red dress. Very good singer, but not a runner-up in my opinion. Ukraine, much better, as far as I'm concerned. Third place for Zlata Ognievich. This was very Disney-esque. You had that giant on stage that carried her on. She really nailed that performance. She wasn't moving about much, but her vocals were top-notch. And then Norway in 4th, fantastic. Russia in 5th, I think that's fairly well-deserved, actually, as well. A bit of a cliched entry, but very strong performance. Greece, Italy, oh yeah, some people would say the Netherlands, back in the final after years away, almost a decade away. Anouk, that song, I've got to be honest, only within the past year or so have I really started to appreciate it. I always found it a little bit strange and unusual, and I couldn't really get into it for a long time, but now I'm really starting to appreciate it for what it is. I've always liked it, but back in the day, I was maybe indifferent. But anyway, would you say Azerbaijan in second place here, the strongest entry not to win this decade? I wouldn't say that. I'd say Norway, actually, is a possible contender. That's a really strong song, I Feed You My Love. Let me know your thoughts. Moving on to 2014. Now, we do have a song here, and I would argue its case. Come After the Storm by the Common Linnets for the Netherlands, I think probably is the strongest song not to win this decade. If it hadn't been for Conchita, the Dutch would have won a couple of years ago, and then again this year, of course. And I would have been thrilled with this. Absolutely wonderful. I've spoken about this song so many times on my channel that I'm just running the risk of repeating myself once again. 238 points for this. Terrific. The camera panning around Ilse and Whalen. Black and white. Very minimal stuff. Absolutely beautiful. Just the most relaxing and lovely little song to listen to. A breath of fresh air amongst all the bombastic pop that we often get in Eurovision. I thought it was absolutely bang on the money. I thought it was fantastic. Sweden in third place, very strong ballad, can't really fault that. Armenia in fourth, also very, very strong. And then the rest of the songs, I feel are a bit too far away perhaps. But do you agree? Do you think Calm After the Storm is the strongest non-winner of the past 10 years? I definitely say so. This is in my top 3 favourite Eurovision songs to date, 1956 to the present. Absolutely, absolutely wonderful. I'd love for the Common Linnets to come back, but I don't think it's ever going to happen. Maybe they'll be part of the Interval Act next year in Rotterdam. Who knows? Moving on to 2015. The runner-up, well, the top 3 was so far ahead of everybody else that nobody else may have bothered turning up, you know what I mean? Sweden won, fair enough. Russia in second place, very strong. Very strong. And I think second place just about justified. And then Italy in third place, the actual public winner. This is terrific. You know, it was always going to do well. Classy stuff from Italy again. Vocals absolutely fantastic. It was a very strong performance. It was last on in the grand final, so a good place in the running order. And I think the juries definitely killed Italy's chances of victory. Belgium in fourth, big fan favourite. That really came upon the rails the week of the contest. And then Australia, obviously going to do quite well. I don't think people expected Latvia to finish 6th. Estonia, my personal winner, in 7th, amazing. And then you have my personal runner-up in 2015, Norway in 8th, fantastic. Israel, big fan favourite too. But I definitely think you could say Polina Gagarina and or Il Volo, 2 of the strongest songs not to win over the past 10 years, definitely, because it was quite a competitive year. It was going to be Sweden, Russia or Italy who won. I think we could all agree on that. Some people thought Belgium might have done it, but I think most people were in agreement that it was going to be the actual top 3 that we ended up with. Personally, I was supporting Italy out of the 3 favourites to win, but obviously they finished with the bronze medal. Let me know your thoughts. 2016, the runner-up was Australia, was it not? Dami Im, Sound of Silence. As soon as Poland finished above Australia in the public vote, that was it. Australia weren't winning. Not terribly far away from victory. Very, very strong ballad. Again, you could definitely say this is the strongest song not to win over the past 10 years. Definitely the strongest song Australia have sent so far. Better than Zero Gravity, although I prefer Zero Gravity. You Are the Only One by Russia. Some people would say that's the strongest performance we've had that didn't win over the past 10 years. Bulgaria, very good. Sweden in 5th. Not sure about that. And France in 6th. Yeah, there are some very, very strong songs. Some really, really fantastic entries from the 2016 Stockholm competition. Should Australia have won ahead of Ukraine? Let me know your thoughts. I've never been a huge fan of 1944. I don't think I ever will be. I was hoping Australia were going to win. Again, I had my personal favourites. My personal winner of the 2016 competition is Spain, but they stood no chance really of winning. And I knew that the week of the competition. I was supporting Italy as well, and they finished in 16th, so no chance. So out of the major favourites, I was hoping Australia were going to do it, but they came up short, alas. Let me know what you think. Australia definitely one of the strongest songs not to win this decade, in my opinion. Then we move on to 2017. The runner-up was Bulgaria, Christian Kostov. Here's a bit of an unpopular opinion. I think I might have said it before on my channel. I think Beautiful Mess is quite the overrated song. I didn't find it a very interesting, engaging performance at all. For somebody who was, very young at the time, 16, 17, he sounded very good, and I wouldn't be surprised if he came back to Eurovision at some point. But this song does not do anything for me. 615 points. That's a lot, isn't it? For a song that I just don't think is that amazing. Moldova, on the other hand, pretty good, but third place, you could say that's a bit overrated too. Belgium in fourth. That, for me, is one of the strongest songs not to win over the past 10 years. That was truly tremendous stuff from Belgium. Blanche with City Lights. Great song, that. People said, oh, she looks nervous on stage. Oh, why is she not moving about? Oh, Belgium have blown their chances. Blah, 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 blah. Finished in fourth place. So it doesn't really matter, does it? Sweden fifth. Yeah, fair enough. They had the treadmills on stage. And then Italy in sixth. The overwhelming favourite to win up until about a week and a half before the contest, where Portugal came into the party and said, about time we won, lads. And that's exactly what happened. So, yeah, you could say Bulgaria, absolutely. I would go for Belgium there. The strongest song... Belgium and Italy, the strongest entries from 2017 not to win. Let me know your thoughts. 2018, the runner-up was Cyprus. Well. Here's another very strong contender to be the best song not to win over the past decade. This was Fuego. We all know it. What a sexy, striking performance this was. Eleni Foureira, 436 points, almost 100 points behind Israel, the winning entry. I was supporting Cyprus purely because they had never won before. Israel had. And I thought the Cypriot performance was stronger and more memorable. And I think since the 2018 final, perhaps more people have listened to the Cypriot entry than the Israeli winner. I don't know. Maybe you have. I know I have listened to Fuego more than Toy, but let me know your thoughts on that. Austria in third. Maybe not. Germany in fourth. Yeah, very strong. Italy in fifth. Also pretty strong. Some really fantastic entries. Last year was a really strong competition. I enjoyed every moment of the grand final, pretty much. And definitely... excuse me. Oh dear. Definitely Cyprus. That is one of the finest entries not to win over the past 10 years. Maybe one of the finest entries not to win in the history of the competition to date. As always, let me know your thoughts on that. And then this year, the runner-up was Italy. Personally, as much as I love Arcade, and I really enjoy Soldi by Mahmoud as well, I think Soldi is the song that people will remember the most from this year. I think Arcade will be a little bit forgotten before too long, whereas Soldi, I think, will live long in the memory. In fact, in that ESC 250 poll that they do at the end of every year, I wouldn't be surprised if Soldi finishes above Arcade in that this year, to be honest with you. Scream for Russia. No, I don't think so. She Got Me was very good. Too Late for Love was very strong. Spirit in the Sky for Norway was the public's choice this year. That was very strong. Zero Gravity, probably the finest entry not to finish in the top 5 this decade. Let me know your thoughts on that as well. Yeah. What else is there to say? I feel as though this video has run its course. For me, Common Linnets 2014 for the Netherlands, absolutely the strongest song not to win over the past 10 years. Russia 2015, Italy 2015, Cyprus 2018. Maybe those entries are the best not to win. But please let me know your thoughts on this. It's always very interesting to have a debate and discuss these sorts of things. And I might make a video before Christmas or just after Christmas where I talk about songs that finished in the bottom 3 and whether they deserved to or not. Let me know your thoughts on that now, if you so wish. There we go, a big, long, rambling video that I'm about to upload. If the quality of this video is quite poor, then I really do apologise. It sadly cannot be helped. And we will have the very first Eurovision 2020 entry by Christmas. It's going to be Albania, who usually are the first nation to announce their entry. Their national final is taking place very, very soon, in the next couple of days. Rehearsals are underway. The Spanish entry, we will know that before the end of January, I believe, and I'm sure one or two other songs will pop up out of nowhere too. And then really the national finals start before you know it. There is approximately half a year, something like that, well, less than half a year, until Eurovision 2020 is upon us, and I'm really looking forward to it. Let me know your thoughts on anything Eurovision related, but of course, specifically with this video, the best song, as neutral as possible, not your personal favourites necessarily, but as neutral as possible. What is the strongest entry, or entries, not to win over the past 10 years? And maybe some of them are some of the strongest entries not to win in the entire history of the competition so far. Whatever it is, let me know, and until next time, I really do appreciate it. Thank you very much for watching, and bye for now.